July 24th, 2023. Journal entry number 10. You know what's funny? Aside from Nick's face, is how horrendously unintelligent America was. Remember back to when a certain orange was elected the next president due to him playing against the country's stupidity and sheer sense of white supremacy? He played on fears. He played dumb people, which is the majority of the country. Just look at our schooling and prison numbers and statistics compared to other countries. It's embarrassing. It still is. That giant pile of moral waste deserves an Oscar for pulling off the greatest act of all time. Happens too often. Democracy isn't actually a thing. And for the longest time, my fellow LGBT folk and everyone else who isn't white feared for, our lives just by going to work and walking down the street, etc., etc. That's not freedom. Where the hell is Sam the Eagle when you need him? So happy that effing disaster didn't last that long, seeing as love always trumps hate. Yeah, America, an embarrassment to history. So, yeah. Speaking of hilarity, aside from Nick's face, I figured I'd share some medical school memories since I've lived quite the random life. Seriously, looking back on my life, writing these journal entries, writing these random haikus, it's like I'm this Airedale puppy filled with Ritalin and bouncing all over the place in a bounce house. Also, medical school memories. Sounds like a good band name. MSM, Medical School Memories. I didn't actually technically go to medical school. Let's be clear with that. But I did work at 3 separate medical schools years ago as a standardized patient, an SP. That job title is kind of tricky to explain, so let's try to word this out to paint a pretty picture in your pretty minds. As an SP, I would act out different cases for medical students and personnel to diagnose and or converse about. Like, if you're being told that you have cancer, do you want your doctor to tell you in a very blunt and cold manner or in a comforting and collected manner? I'd also act as guinea pig, basically, for students to practice physical exams and ultrasounds on. I was getting paid to learn, and it was great. Well, one specific school was greater, in my opinion, than the other 2 I worked at, but to each his own. So here are some random stories. One case at one of the schools, which I had to do on a few different days, involved me having an active seizure in an exam room while I was talking to a medical student about issues I had the night before. So, when you act out a specific type of seizure, your right head and arm have to stiffen and move to the right as your body tightens and you shake violently while letting out this awful moan. At least this is what I was directed to do by the neurologist working with us for this particular case. My fake seizures freaked the F out of mad peeps. So many students just left me flailing on the exam table to then fall to the floor. I hit my head numerous times, and I had the neurologist even say to me afterwards that if I started foaming at the mouth and peed my pants, that they would have ran into the exam room to perform proper procedures. That's how realistic my fake seizures were. And I was like, yo, that's like the greatest compliment, thank you. Because it really was. As an actor portraying a character for medical students, to have a seizure in front of them to scare actual neurologists, that's truly the greatest compliment on my abilities to portray someone in something else. Much like how, a movie or TV villain actor is great at their job because you generally want to rip their effing throat out through the screen you're watching them on, means they're great at their job. Brava! Another case at another school. It was this depression case. I, as the character, threatened to kill myself the night before because my girlfriend broke up with me, and my mom heard me threaten suicide, called the cops, and I was at the hospital for a psychiatric evaluation, something like that. And I will never forget this one kid, medical student, probably in his mid-20s, just still a habit of saying kid. Anyways, this one kid comes into the exam room. I have my hoodie over my head as I sit forward in a corner with my elbows to my knees, barely making any eye contact. He kneels down on the tile floor right in front of me, asks for my name and date of birth and why I'm at the hospital today. I answer his questions, refusing to look at him, but he keeps creeping lower and lower to look under my hood and meet my eyes. It was so difficult to continue avoiding him when he was literally in my face. So I looked up, he smiled, and pulled a stool over to sit up with me. After he sat down, he looks down at my black and white checkered slip-ons, and says, "I love your shoes." "Thanks," I said quietly, but secretly I'm trying my hardest not to bust out laughing at how this kid was approaching the situation. Like, really, dude? You would basically crawl on the floor to make eye contact with me and then compliment my shoes? I got it, though. I understood what he was doing. He wanted me to know that he was there for me. Legit, right there. And he wasn't going anywhere until our conversation ended in him helping me out. I got it. I couldn't fight him anymore. I was locked in, and it was like he was some Jedi Master using the Force. I was so impressed with this kid. I honestly can't even remember his name, but he's going to be a fantastic physician. I mean, this was eons ago, so he's clearly a physician now. I wonder what practice he decided to go into, though. Well, here's to you, dude. You killed that test. Another story. One of the schools was doing a big case day. So, like, there were 14 different cases going on, and the students had to rotate from room to room to room to room with a new case in each. Like, someone could be having stomach problems in one, and another could have had a domestic abuse case, etc., etc. All different things. But because of so many different cases, there were so many SPs crammed into one break room at one given point or another. So I had like a 2-hour break in between my turns to act out whatever case I was doing that day. What was it even? Something to do with STDs, maybe? Who knows? But a few of the girls / women my age at the time had a long break as well. So, of course, we gossiped and talked about shows and such, but the conversation then shifted. This one girl, who's gay, brought up the subject of artificial insemination. So, as educated millennials working in a hospital, we had a great conversation. There were like 5 or 6 of us in this little powwow group during the conversation, me and 5 females. It was perfect. Then, the lesbian friend looks at me and smirks. "You know, I'm totally considering you, Brogan, to be the father of my future child." So my direct response was, hells yes. She was attractive. I wasn't a full potato. And if you don't understand that meme reference, then you should seriously question your life right now. And yeah, we'd make pretty babies. It never happened, but it was still a great conversation. One of our friends in the group then started to look on her phone about at-home artificial insemination kits, and we all had this mature conversation on what was the best product, or to just go old school with my stuff in a cup and using a turkey baster. But yeah, it was hilarious. This one medical school, my favorite of the 3, shall remain nameless. The school itself was in the hospital it was associated / partnered with. So you had to go down many, many floors of the hospital and through a labyrinth just to get there. But yeah, this school it just had this awesome rec room for the students to chill in on their downtime and such. So of course I played video games and ping pong, terribly might I add, with my friends / fellow coworkers during our own downtimes, because we were allowed to use it too. One summer, the med school had 2 SPs at a time be ultrasounded in the anatomy lab. So, like, the students would be examining body parts on their group cadavers and then ultrasound those body parts on us SPs to see the organs they're studying working all nice and whatever. Don't know if you've ever been in an anatomy lab before, but it's basically an enormous fridge that reeks of formaldehyde. Educational, true, but you can never get that scent out of your head, once you're submerged in it for hours at a time. I learned a lot that summer while freezing to death in just my underwear while laying on a gurney just 20 feet away from cadavers and being ultrasounded. So one day, my coworker, okay, and I finished up with our ultrasounds. The students had cleaned up the areas and everyone was packing up the equipment and such. The bro worker strolls over to the head physician in charge of the anatomy lab and asks if he and I can get a brief tour before we leave. The doctor said, "Of course you can, just don't touch anything." We were wearing just our hospital robes, still covered in that cold ultrasound goop, and got brought around the lab. There were a little over 40 people who donated their bodies to science, and the doctor made sure we knew that. These people may have died from this or that, she went on as we stopped by this guy who was covered in tattoos. But they realized the importance for a brighter future. Those who were capable of donating their organs saved numerous lives, each. And there's over 40 individuals here now who donated their full bodies to educate for a brighter future. So that's hundreds and hundreds of people who now have a new take on life, physically or metaphysically, because of these beautiful and unsung heroes. I paraphrased, but it was something like that. Donating your body or organs when you die, it made sense when the doctor explained it. I don't know, it's like most people are all talk and no show, but these cadavers in front of us, they were all show. Literally. They didn't inflate themselves up by just talking, they actually did. They helped others learn. They helped others survive. So of course I registered to be an organ donor that following day. I got it. I saw it. I smelt it. I didn't touch it, but I heard it. I understood it. And that was a very powerful thing to get about the value of someone's organs to better someone else's chances at life. Turns out my medical school memories were more serious in nature than humorous as I initially thought. Funny how that happens. Haikus. 226. Icing on cookies, nicely baked and golden brown. They're too good for words. 227. Pizza solves all things. Pizza doesn't lie to you. Pizza is for real. 228. Christmas lights hung up. Should I stay or should I go? A bloody bromance. 229. Pumpkins on blankets. 'Tis the season for fall stuff. Warm and coziness. 230. Green and red streamers. Paper snowflakes taped on wall. Fake tree by the door. 231. So you think you're cool, but you cut off your long hair? No one likes you, Finn. 232. The god Apollo, a true bisexual bro. Haikus all around. 233. Sometimes you are rude. How dare you say those bad things? Chris Pratt is a god. 234. Up until right now, I had mad respect for you. How dare you drink Mook? 235. My oh my bro. Where oh where are you off to? The show's gonna start. 236. Exit through the doors. The building is on fire. Run, you fat effers. 237. No, don't open that. Have you lost your effing mind? It's flammable, Pete. 238. Oh my effing gods. This is not the time or place. The chocolate melted. 239. Great balls of fire. Vanilla over chocolate. Ice cream solves all things. 240. Grilled cheese is awesome. It's the goo that makes us whole. Grilled cheese loves you back. 241. Where are my car keys? Why do I keep losing them? Are they in the fridge? 242. Kangaroos can jump. And here's another fact. Dinosaurs evolved. 243. So what if I cry? This death shattered my whole world. I will never stop. 244. Questions about life? Is 42 the number? Are we born to die? 245. I never liked you. You always were a moron. You never shut up. 246. No! Stop singing that! It'll be stuck in my head. That darn melody. 247. Up on the rooftop. The reindeer are not prancing. Yo, pass the eggnog. 248. Some energy drinks. Music pumping, games and food. We're party rocking. 249. Can I eat candy? I mean, like, for every meal? Nah, my teeth will die. 250. Dildos of purple. 8 inches of pure man meat. Can that even fit? Party rocking in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Everybody just have a good time.